Good afternoon, everyone. Happy, happy fall. So we're moving into fall now, and I'm Cynthia Gwiazda. I'm the Community Services Librarian here at Hagaman Library, and I'm excited to share with you some new fiction for adults here at Hagaman that are available this September. So we have some new titles I'm going to talk about. I also want to let you know that we have a special reading contest going on for our adult readers, and it's called Fall into Reading. We have for every book that you read, and it doesn't have to be a library book; it can be any book that you've read. You can come to the library and fill out a little review slip, so you can put your contact information and a little review of the book you read, and that becomes a raffle ticket, and you have a chance to win up to 4 prizes throughout the fall. It runs from today until November 22nd. And then we'll have a final prize for the person who read the most books over the fall. And the special gift will be a $50 gift card to the Rib House here in East Haven. So I really hope there'll be a chance for we'll have 3 random drawings, and there will be prizes. There will be 3 prizes that we will pick a random prize winner for throughout the fall. And there's more information about that on our website and how the contest works. So I really hope you will participate, and that'll be a lot of fun. And our first prize is a special fall gift basket and a $25 gift card to the Transylvania restaurant here in East Haven. So please join our special contest. It'll be a lot of fun. We have our gifts basket displayed at the front desk. So please come in and participate and enjoy it. So without further ado, I'm going to talk to you today about some new fiction we have available. Hmm. Oops. Ah, okay. So our new and featured readers recommendations for September 2024. All right. The first book I'd like to talk about is called The Most by Jessica Anthony. It's November 3rd, 1957, as Sputnik 2 launches into space carrying Laika, the doomed Soviet dog. A couple begin their day. Virgil Beckett, an insurance salesman, isn't particularly happy in his job, but he fulfills the role. Kathleen Beckett, once a promising tennis champion with a key shot up her sleeve, is now a mother and homemaker. On this unseasonably warm Sunday, Kathleen decides not to join her family at church. Instead, she unearths her old red bathing suit and descends into the deserted swimming pool of their apartment complex in Newark, Delaware. And then she won't come out. A riveting, single sitting read, and it's set over the course of 8 hours. The Most masterfully breaches the shimmering surface of a seemingly idyllic mid century marriage, immersing us in the unspoken truth beneath. That's called The Most by Jessica Anthony. And the next book is called All the Colors of the Dark by Chris Whitaker. 1975 is a time of change in America. The Vietnam War is ending. Muhammad Ali is fighting Joe Frazier. And in the small town of Montclair, Missouri, girls are disappearing. When the daughter of a wealthy family is targeted, the most unlikely hero emerges. Patch, a local boy who saves the girl and in doing so leaves heartache in his wake. Patch and those who love him soon discover that the line between triumph and tragedy has never been finer, and that their search for answers will lead them to truths that could mean losing one another. A missing person mystery, a serial killer thriller, a love story, a unique twist on each. Chris Whitaker has written a novel about what lurks in the shadows of obsession and the blinding light of hope. That's called All the Colors of the Dark by Chris Whitaker. The next book is called The Faculty Lounge by Jennifer Mathieu. It all starts when an elderly substitute teacher at Baldwin High School is found dead in the faculty lounge. After a bit of a stir, life quickly returns to normal. It's not like it's the worst or even the most interesting thing that has happened within the building's walls. But when, a week later, the spontaneous scattering of his ashes on the school grounds catches the attention of some busybody parents, it sets in motion a year that can only be described as wild, bizarre, tragic, mundane, beautiful, and humorous all at once. In the midst of the ensuing hysteria and threats of disciplinary action, the novel peeks into the lives of the implicated adults, who it turns out actually have first names and continue to exist when the school day is done. We meet a former punk band, a former punk band frontman, now a middle-aged principal who must battle it out with the school board to keep his job. A no-nonsense school nurse, willing to break the rules, despite the close watch on their campus, when a student arrives at her office with a dilemma, and a disgruntled English instructor who finds himself embroiled in even more controversy when he misfires a snarky email. Oh, and then there's also a teacher makeout session in a supply closet during a lockdown. As these people continue to manage the messiness of this school year, there is a looming threat of what will become of their beloved Baldwin High. Ultimately, at the heart of this unconventional workplace novel is a story of the power of human connection and of the joy of finding purpose in what it is we do every day. That's called The Faculty Lounge by Jennifer Mathieu. The next book is called Where Are You, Echo Blue? And that's by Haley Kreischer. When Echo Blue, the most famous child star of the 90s, disappears ahead of a highly publicized television appearance on the eve of the millennium, the salacious theories instantly start swirling. Mostly, people assume Echo has gotten herself in trouble after a reckless New Year's Eve. But Goldie Klein, an ambitious young journalist, who also happens to be Echo's biggest fan, knows there must be more to the story. Why, on the eve of her big comeback, would Echo just go missing without a trace? After a year of covering dreary local stories for Manhattan Eye, Goldie is sure this will be her big break. Who better to find Echo Blue and tell her story the right way than her? And so Goldie heads to LA to begin a wild search that takes her deep into Echo's complicated life, in which parental strife, friend breakups, rehab stints, and bad romances abound. But the further into Echo's world Goldie gets, the more she questions her own complicity in the young star's demise. And yet she cannot tear herself away from this story, which has now consumed her entirely. Meanwhile, we also hear Echo's side of things from the beginning, showing a young woman who was chewed up and spit out by Hollywood, as so many are, and who may have had to pay the ultimate price. As these young women's poignant and unexpected journeys unfold and eventually meet, where are you, Echo Blue? Interrogates celebrity culture, the thin line between admiration and obsession, and what it means to tell other people's stories, all while ushering us on an unruly ride to find out what did become of Echo Blue. And that's called Where Are You, Echo Blue by Haley Kreischer. The next book is called I Hope This Finds You Well by Natalie Sue. As far as Jolene is concerned, her interactions with her colleagues should start and end with her official duties as an admin for Super Shops Inc. Unfortunately, her irritating, incompetent coworkers don't seem to understand the importance of boundaries. Her secret to survival? She vents her grievances in petty email postscripts, then changes the text color to white so no one can see. That is until one of her secret messages is exposed. Her punishment? Sensitivity training, led by the suspiciously friendly HR guy, Cliff, and rigorous email restrictions. When an IT mix up grants her access to her entire department's private emails and DMs, Jolene knows she should report it. But who could resist reading what their coworkers are really saying? And when she discovers layoffs are coming, she realizes this might just be the key to saving her job. The plan is simple: gain her boss's favor, convince HR she's Super Shop's material, and beat out the competition. But as Jolene is drawn further into her coworkers' private worlds and realizes they are each keeping secrets, her carefully constructed walls begin to crumble, especially around Cliff, who she definitely cannot have feelings for. Eventually, she will need to decide if she's ready to leave the comfort of her cubicle, even if that means coming clean to her colleagues. Crackling with laugh out loud dialogue and relatable observations, I Hope This Finds You Well is a fresh and surprisingly tender comedy about loneliness and love beyond our computer screens. This sparkling debut novel will open your heart to the everyday eccentricities of work culture and the undeniable human connection that comes along with it. And that's called I Hope This Finds You Well, and that's by Natalie Sue. The next book is called The Lost Boy of Santa Ciona by Juliet Grams. Calabria, 1960. Francesca Loftfield, a 27-year-old starry-eyed American, arrives in the isolated mountain village of Santa Ciona, tasked with opening a nursery school. There's no road, no doctor, no running water or electricity. And thanks to a recent flood that swept away the post office, there's no mail either. Most troubling, though, is the human skeleton that surfaced after the floodwaters receded. Who is it? And why don't the police come and investigate? When the local priest's housekeeper begs Francesca to help determine if the remains are those of her long missing son, Francesca begins to ask a lot of inconvenient questions. As an outsider, she might be the only person who can uncover the truth. Or she might be getting in over her head as she attempts to juggle a nosy landlady, a suspiciously dashing shepherd, and a network of local families bound together by a code of silence. Francesca finds herself forced to choose between the charitable mission and that brought her to Santa Shionia and her future happiness between truth and survival. Set in the wild heart of Calabria, a land of sheer cliff faces, ancient tradition, dazzling sunlight, and one of the world's most ruthless criminal syndicates, The Lost Boy of Santa Chionia is a suspenseful puzzle mystery, a captivating romance, and an affecting portrait of a young woman in search of a meaningful life. That's called The Last Boy of Santa Chionia by Juliet Grams. The next book is called By Any Other Name by Jodi Picoult. Young playwright Melina Green has just written a new work inspired by the life of her Elizabethan ancestor, Amelia Bassano. But seeing it performed is unlikely in a theater world where the playing field isn't level for women. As Melina wonders if she dares risk failure again, her best friend takes the decision out of her hands and submits the play to a festival under a male pseudonym. In 1581, young Amelia Bassano is a ward of English aristocrats. Her lessons on languages, history, and writing have endowed her with a sharp wit and a gift for storytelling. But like most women of her day, She's allowed no voice of her own. Forced to become a mistress to the Lord Chamberlain, who oversees all theater productions in England, Amelia sees firsthand how the words of playwrights can move an audience. She begins to form a plan to secretly bring a play of her own to the stage by paying an actor named William Shakespeare to front her work. Told in intertwining timelines by any other name, a sweeping tale of ambition, courage, and desire centers two women who are determined to create something beautiful despite the prejudices they face. Should a writer do whatever it takes to see her story live on, no matter the cost? This remarkable novel, rooted in primary historical sources, ensures oop, ensures that they will no longer be forgotten. And that's called By Any Other Name by Jodi Picoult. And that ends our book talk for today. Thanks for tuning in, and please follow us on social media for more library goodness. And our handles are Facebook and X at Hagaman Library. Instagram and Threads is at Hagaman_East Haven. And of course, we were closed yesterday. Also we will be reopening on Saturdays beginning on September 14th. We look forward to seeing you soon at the library, and thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great day.